Greetings from the Whole Elephant Institute and the Sacred Virtue Institute. Today is already a new month, June 1st. I'm standing here in the bright sunset and blue sky, and my community members and my long shadow right here. Okay, so let's come to the main subject here. Just want to summarize ongoing progress at the Whole Elephant Institute and Sacred Virtue Institute. We start to do something very significant, and the Whole Elephant Institute started here in Flushing 2005, July 15th, officially registered in New York State. The Whole Elephant Institute has accumulated huge amount of data for the future scientists who are going to follow the footsteps of Dr. Lotus Weiss to come to the people and to connect with the people who are the one that have supported the scientific research through public grant. So the tax dollars of the general public is behind all the major discoveries in the frontier life science field, cancer research field, basic medical science field. And that is what the founder, Dr. Tong Wang, the founder of the Whole Elephant Institute, who came at the age of 21 from China to America, landed in Orlando, Florida, picked up by Dr. Kelly Salmon and Dr. Robin Wallace. From Orlando to Gainesville, and the journey started on August 24th, 1988. It is time to review the journey of Dr. Tong Wang in America from August 24th, 1988 to actually, I would say, May 13th, 2003. Yeah. That's the history of Dr. Tong Wang. After May 13th, 2003, a new life, a new script started. Although Dr. Tong Wang was still under the name of Tong Wang, but the inner change of a new identity and the new script started on May 13th, 2003. Yeah. So I consider that to be the birthday of Dr. Lotus King Weiss. But the name of Dr. Lotus King Weiss didn't start until much later, actually in Flushing. It was in the year of, let me think, at that time was already entered into the year of 2014, I believe. Yeah, 2014, Dr. Lotus King Weiss, the name basically started to be really activated. Let's see. As a matter of fact, yeah. But initially, not publicly used. The first time the name came out was due to a TV program in New Tang Dynasty television station. And they wanted Dr. Tang Wenwang and her daughter, little Lotus, Xiao Lianchen, to together work on a television program. And the name is called Kung Fu Chinese, 100 episode. The mission is to teach Chinese language arts to every family in America through 100 episodes of the TV series called Kung Fu Chinese, with the central character of a young lady following a Kung Fu master. And every episode delivers a key moral lesson with stories. And after the story is completed, the episode also has the textbook for learning the Chinese language arts, involving the key conversations in that episode and the key moral messages or spiritual messages. So the director, Mr. Ziming Chen, met with Dr. Tang Wenwang on a little, I think now remember, it's a McDonald's on Roosevelt Avenue in downtown Flushing. And Mr. Ziming Chen said to Dr. Tang Wenwang, well, I think you shall use a different name for your role in working on this project, because I heard a lot of kind of negativity among certain people in the circle. And so it's best to avoid using the name of Dr. Tang Wenwang. And Dr. Tang Wenwang said, no problem, I will give you this new name. So she wrote down Dr. Lotus King Weiss. Now that was in the year of 2011. Yeah, 2010, I think even. So that's how the name in terms of Dr. Lotus King Weiss and how that name came into the public eyes and associated with Dr. Tang Wenwang, and eventually through court order, this name became legal and became the legal name for this stage of the work. So yeah, I want to kind of take this opportunity to clarify that. Now looking back, because yesterday the project came to a part that it's time for me to provide a timeline. A timeline is important, and I have a writing of the summary of the detailed timeline, but I want to also take this opportunity to just review, also myself, fresh review of the time that happened of the journey, in the journey of Dr. Tang Wenwang from 1967 to 2003, May 13th. So February 14th, 1967, a little baby came into this world. Baby girl was the 6th day of the Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year. I should not call it the lunar. It is basically called the Chinese New Year. the 6th day, 1967, and that baby girl was born in the hospital called number 4 People's Hospital in Wuxi City. Yeah. So February 14th, 1967, arrival, a red princess. Why? Because the parents actually were devoted Chinese Communist Party members. Yue Qingbao and Yu Fen Wang, 1967. And the name actually was given by little Tang Wen's father. And the reason Tang, which means a unique red color. The left side of that Chinese character is Dan, elixir. And elixir is the symbol of the old cultivation ways in the human history. So there are 3 schools: Ru, Confucius, Confucianism, Shi, Buddhism, Dao, Taoism, Ru, Shi, Dao. And all the 3 schools of spirituality, the Tao school and the Buddha school, in terms of religion, the Buddhism and the Taoism, they all cultivate elixir. It's elixir cultivation. So Dan, elixir, is a symbol of the old cultivation ways. And on the right side is the 3 strikes, corresponding to the 3 schools. So in every way, that character Tang, red color, that's very hard to paint. It's a unique red color that is very beautiful, and it symbolizes old cultivation schools, elixir cultivation schools, Wen, culture. So the name of this little girl actually is the cultivation culture of the old schools. When I say old schools, is I compare that part of the history as the old circle that is about to be ended and replaced, and we're gonna be transit into the new cycle. So the old civilization cycle of the past 5,000 years has the cultivation ways and remembered to be the elixir cultivation ways, and cultivate the subordinate consciousness, and the physical body usually is cast away at the end, like what Buddha did, like what Jesus did. Okay, and that is considered to be elixir cultivation way, and the culture that are associated with the cultivation ways known by the human world, human society, that's the culture. Tang Wen is the summary of that cycle. And essence is cultivation practice, cultivation schools. And it's incredible, right? A big name, very, very big name. However, ironically, what actually was in Tang Wen's father's mind, that his reasoning of choosing these 2 characters, is because at the time when Tang Wen arrived into the human world, 1967, was the beginning of the horrific called 10 years of great cultural revolution by the Chinese Communist Party, with the intention to systematically eradicate the culture of the 5,000 years in China. And That is very interesting, right? A baby was born amidst the Great Cultural Revolution, and that Great Cultural Revolution with a mission is to eradicate that culture that's summarized by the name Tang Wen. And the father interpret these two characters also in the communist way too, because at the time the communists considered this Great Cultural Revolution to be the color of Hong Tong Tong. They used two Tong Tong and red to praise the 10 years of Cultural Revolution. It's called 红彤彤的文化大革命. So Tang Wen in the communist father's mind basically represents the red cultural revolution. And so you can see in this human world, even a name carries complete opposite side. Yeah, this is very revealing, right? It's a revelation, right? Today's revelation about Tang Wen, the name. Now the last name, Wang, is king, okay? The king of the divine culture. The little girl came into the world amidst the great cultural revolution, 红彤彤文化大革命, aims to eradicate the 5,000 years of traditional Chinese culture, the divine culture. And the last name basically started with not Wang at the very beginning, actually started with a different Chinese character, Bao. Why Bao? Because the mother's name, last name, is Bao. What is Bao? Bao means all-encompassing. Okay, all-encompassing, Bao. And that is the last name actually known to every Chinese about the greatest justice, represent justice, upholding justice. This figure in Song Dynasty, Bao Qingtian, Bao Gong. He is the iconic symbol of upholding justice, disregarding the power even of the emperor. Okay, now that is the mother's last name, and the father's last name is Wang, the king. Okay, now why little Tang Wen first was given the last name of the mother? It's a maternal lineage thing in that family. How come? Because the son that's supposed to inherit the family heritage in the Bao family sadly died at the age of 21. And how come? Because of the Chinese Communist Party artificially created a disaster and a famine in the 1960s. And this young man in the Bao family to inherit the lineage of Bao family, his name is Bao Mingzhu. Ming, the bright, Zhu means ancestor. To brighten the ancestor, Bao Mingzhu, the young man at the age of 21, just graduated from the college that prepared him to be a teacher, super talent, a great musician, loved by all the villagers, and the absolute jewel of the mother. He Gendi, that was Tang Wen's maternal grandmother, and she became the central figure for little Tang Wen's childhood. And also she was the one that made sure little Tang Wen could land into the human world. Why? Because the mother of Tang Wen, Bao Yue Qin, Yue means moon, Qin means piano. The mother was very dedicated to serve the Chinese Communist Party, and she was requested by the CCP leader not to have a second child because she already had one son, that's Bao Jianxin, also became a very important player in the story of Tang Wen when she was persecuted by the CCP in America, and how Bao Jianxin did, we will see. But Jianxin Bao was 4 years ahead of Tang Wen in his journey to land onto the earth. And so Bao Yue Qin was requested by the leader not to have the second child. And she wanted to go abortion. And she did. She already went to the hospital. The doctor was ready to do the abortion. However, the doctor stopped the procedure, claiming that she could not do the abortion because of a little herpes virus infection. And when she came out frustrated from the Force People's Hospital in Wuxi City, the grandmother He Gendi was already waiting for her. She rushed from the countryside, went to the Wuxi City. Yeah, He Gendi was living in a little village called Wenling village. It was not easy to travel to Wuxi City, although it was not too far away. Probably takes about a whole afternoon of journey on the water, on the boat. But she rushed to Wuxi City and tried to stop her daughter from doing abortion. And once she saw Bao Yue Qin came out from the hospital, she almost collapsed. And she asked, "You already did it?" Bao Yue Qin said, "No, not so lucky, because the doctor said I cannot do it. Today, need to wait." He Gendi said to her, "Not allowed to do it. I want this baby. If you cannot take care of the baby, I will be the one to raise her." And that actually really happened. Yeah, that's what happened. So He Gendi had 2 children, Bao Mingzhu and Bao Yue Qin. Bao Yue Qin was the elder one. Bao Mingzhu was the younger brother. But at the age of 21, Bao Mingzhu was desperate to see all the villagers were dying due to famine. 1960, the Great Famine. Yeah. And he rushed into the rain, came back with a fever, and 3 days later, without proper medical care during that terrible period of time of 1960, because people were starving to death and the medical care was not available even for a high fever. The fever turned into meningitis, and he passed away at the age of 21. And He Gendi, from that moment on, completely distressed, and the pain in her heart eventually infiltrated into her liver, and eventually she had liver conditions, and that was eventually the cause of her death, liver cancer. Also, that's a wrong diagnosis, as a matter of fact. Okay. Anyway, to come back to the subject about the last name, Bao Yue Qin basically became the only daughter of the Bao family, and therefore her marriage with Wang Yufen had a precondition that the children must follow the mother's last name. And that's why Tang Wen had a last name Bao, all-encompassing the 5,000 years of divine culture is the name of this little girl, Bao Tang Wen. However, the father said, eventually to the mother. Well, I need to change her name into Wang, the king, because you already have the son, Bao Jianxing, and I will have the daughter to follow my name. Anyway, that is fair, right? So that's how little Tongwen's last name very soon converted into Wang Tongwen when she entered into the elementary school in Wuxi City. Yeah, but Bao Tongwen was a name that was used in her childhood, and Tongwen grew up actually in the little village in Jiangyin City, and that's the little county at the time was Jiangyin County in Wuxi City.